Hello everyone, it's Ashley. The last time we were together, I walked you through an asana from this amazing book that I've been kind of like going through again called A Systematic Course in the Ancient Tantric Techniques of Yoga and Kriya by Swami Satyananda Saraswati. And what I did last time was I actually made a video of practicing this particular asana, Sphinx Asana, and then kind of discussing with you the benefits of it and how it feels, how it helps to calm the body, remove anxiety and anger and things like that, and how it really just impacts the energy field of our body. Anyway, so today, this video is different. It's obviously like my laziest video ever because I'm just sitting here like looking at the book with you. But in my defense, I have a 4-year-old and she requires all my time. So I kind of slide the yoga into my life as much as I can when I can. And I try to share it with you when I have the opportunity. So this is how it is today. And the other reason is because this asana sequence is kind of funny and I don't really feel comfortable doing it in front of you. Allow me to explain. So this sequence is called the Supta Pawanmuktasana Series. And it's funny because it releases flatulence. It's wind releasing poses. Hence my hesitation to be like, watch me do these asanas, because it actually works. I've been doing these, I learned about these, like 10, 15 years ago, and they are wonderful for whenever you have tummy pain, especially in your intestines and things like that. So anyway, so this is the asana, the 2 asanas. I'm just going to kind of show them to you real quick and move on, because I'm really looking forward to the next lesson, which is all about prana. And usually what follows prana is meditation. And versions of pranayama. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to doing these a lot. And if you are just tuning in for the first time, before I move on, we're working through this book together. It's laid out in lessons. There's a whole bunch of different lessons that include asana, pranayama, lectures regarding I don't know, everything. There's meditation, little lessons on mudras. We talk about things like vegetarianism and the root causes of tension and how to relieve them. It's just a fantastic book. It's like my yoga Bible is what I call it. And yeah, so it's like I don't leave the country that I'm in without it. I need it all the time and I use it all the time. So I've gone through most of this book by myself through yoga trainings that I've had at Seven Centers Yoga Arts Academy in Sedona, Arizona, which is now closed because our teacher passed. But while it was open, I attended most of their trainings and over the years. And so this is something I've been through many times, but I wanted to share it with the rest of the world. So I've been going through it little by little and creating blog posts and practice videos and things like that. So anyways, but now we're moving on. And I lost where we were. Oh, we did this one, Samaveta Pranayama. That was nice. But now we're moving back into the asanas and we're in lesson 3. So again, where we left off was Sphinx Asana, and now we're moving into the Pawanmuktasana series. So since we've just finished Christmas and you've probably had a lot of dinner, hopefully, and you are feeling a little bit full, possibly, this could be a real relief for you right now. So the first thing you want to do is lie on the floor, even on your bed. It really doesn't matter. A yoga mat, blanket, whatever. And you lie flat on your back and you just relax your whole body. So you're kind of coming into like a Shavasana pose, corpse pose. And the first thing you do is you always start with the right leg and you bring the right leg in towards your chest. And you bring the thigh and the knee as near as possible to your chest. It looks pretty easy. The other leg should remain straight. You point your toes. You can interlock your hands up here on top of your knee or just hold it. It's up to you. And you just get it as close as you can, little by little. And you just relax the whole body. And you keep the legs straight. And now you'll notice this guy's head is lifted, but you don't start there. You want to like stay flat, right? So you're just staying flat. You're pulling in your right leg. And maybe take a breath or two, breathing in deeply and slowly. And then when you're ready on your next full deep breath, what you'll do is raise the head and shoulders. So as you inhale, you raise your head and your shoulders. And at the end of the inhalation, your forehead or your nose or your chin or your neck, something like that, should touch or be as close as possible to the knee, just as close as possible. And then you hold your breath for a very short time in this raised pose, and then you exhale slowly and lower the head and shoulders to the floor. And this is 1 round. So then what you're going to do is Inhale again, and while again raising the body, repeating the procedure, and just do several rounds on that right leg. Right? And that's about it. And then you just relax the whole body for a short while. Stage 2 is you bend the other leg towards the chest and you just repeat the same procedure several times. And then on completion, you straighten your left leg and relax your whole body. And just relax for a minute. There's more. So there are other things that we can do. But the next thing that you need to do after you've done, like, let's say several rounds on the right side and several rounds on the left side, is you pull both knees into the chest. And it's just a repeat. So you take a couple breaths with your head straight down on the ground. And then as you're ready, when you're ready, you inhale and come up, pulling your knees in really, really nice and tight. And you hold the breath for a count or two and then release everything out. You know what's interesting is that if you have a child, if you have a newborn, for example, their bellies are still like growing and adapting to milk and, you know, life outside the womb. So they tend to get really gassy and fussy. And you can sit in front of them and take their knees and just one at a time, like bicycle them, like push one into the chest, the right knee, and repeat this whole thing, right knee, right knee, right knee, right knee, right knee. You don't need to lift their head, just right knee to their chest, and then left knee a few times, and then maybe bicycle them out and then put both in, and you'll see that they just kind of poot a whole lot and they feel so much better. Just so you know. So anyway, so the breath should be deep and synchronized with the movement. I mean, you don't want to do this without awareness, you know. And the idea is what we're doing is we're massaging the abdominal organs, so the intestines and things like that. And it says here that this asana will give the most benefits if one holds the breath well in the raised position for as long as comfortable. So you might try it that way as well, just like when you come up, hold it for as long as comfortable and then release. I bet you'll feel a lot of relief there. And you should do 3 to 5 rounds of each stage. So when I said several, at least maybe 3 to 5, 3 to 5 on the left leg, and 3 to 5 like this. And that's about it. So it says here that this asana can be done at any time except immediately after meals. However, it is particularly beneficial when done early in the morning before going to the latrine, for it effectively stimulates the nervous action of the bowels and gives a good motion. So it's a useful method for ensuring that the abdomen is emptied as much as possible before beginning one's yoga practice. This is interesting. So if you suffer from back problems, obesity, or certain other ailments, you may find the previous method difficult or uncomfortable, obviously, and if you're pregnant as well. If you cannot do it, then it is a great pity, for it gives many benefits. Well, for this reason, we suggest a simpler alternative, which gives essentially the same benefits, though to a lesser degree. All the stages are performed in the way already explained, except that the head and the shoulders are not raised off the ground. Instead, breathe slowly and deeply with the legs bent to the chest. Hold this position for as long as possible, performing each stage in turn. And then eventually work your way up to the original technique. All right, so let's just run down the benefits. So this asana gives an excellent massage to the abdomen. The abdominal muscles are tensed and simultaneously the internal organs are compressed by the folded legs. This increases the circulation of the blood and stimulates the nerves which connect the organs to the brain or nerve complexes. As such, it helps in no small way to relieve various types of abdominal ailments associated with malfunctioning and inefficient organs. It's particularly useful for removing constipation and flatulence. You can read about this on your own if you'd like, about how it just kind of moves waste through the colon and things like that. But actually, I'll read this part because I think it's cool to just be aware of your your body and your organs and how they function, and how this asana works to create those organs, like help them be healthy. There you are. So this asana is particularly useful for removing constipation and flatulence. Food moves through the stomach, through the intestines during digestion. The intestinal tract is divided into 2 sections, the small and the large intestines. Most of the digestive processes occur in the small intestine. After this, the waste matter proceeds to the large intestine, the colon. The large intestine is about 5 feet in length and rises upwards on the right side of the body, ascending colon, crosses horizontally in the region of the navel, transverse colon, and then goes downwards on the left side of the body, descending colon. It terminates in the anus. For this reason, it is important that Supta Pawanmuktasana is first performed with the right leg bent, so that waste matter is encouraged to pass to the proper direction, and more easily to the anus for expulsion from the ascending colon to the descending colon. If the left leg is bent first, the massage and stimulation of the bowels will be in the opposite order to movement of feces and wind. This is an important aspect and needs to be done correctly to gain maximum benefits. This asana also tones up the back muscles and spinal nerves. So yeah, this is Pawanmuktasana Series. You first pull in your right leg, and then you lift your head and you hold your breath after you've reached the end of your inhale, and then you release, and you do this again like up to 5 times, if not more. And then the left, and then you pull in both knees. This is the Pawanmuktasana Series. Anyways, so I hope you learned something today. I hope you try it. I think it's awesome. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it really does work. I'm not joking. There have been times that I mean, there's a really funny story, and I'm kind of embarrassed to share it, and I wonder if I should, but I will. I'm going to do it. I was at a party, and I was with a girlfriend, and she just had, her stomach was hurting her so bad. And I was like, you're probably gassy. And she was like, what? And we discussed what she ate. And I was like, yeah, it sounds a little bit like your intestines are a little bit upset. Like, you need to do Pawanmuktasana. And we're in the middle of a party. And she and I went to the bedroom of this house. And I taught her how to do it. And she was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, so you just need to push this right leg in. And I was like how you do with babies, you're like pushing their legs in. And so she did it, and it relieved her. So I'm just saying, if she was here, she would say, yes, it does work. And she would be embarrassed, but I won't give names. But that has happened. And yeah, so good luck. Since we're here, I think I'll just walk you through Sphinx Pose and Makarasana, because I would really like to move on to Prana. It's my favorite. I love Prana. Okay, so this asana is known as a Sphinx Pose because the front of the body in the final pose very much resembles an Egyptian sphinx, but you should know its Sanskrit version, which is Ardha Bhujangasana, half cobra. It's a simple asana, and it's a preparatory pose for Bhujangasana, the cobra pose, where your hands are here and like your arms are straight. Yeah. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You just lie flat on the floor. Your forearms are flat on the floor. And one of the things that I like to do is take this hand over to your elbow and just make sure it's the perfect length in between. Like, this elbow isn't too far out. It's not too far in. You should just be able to touch and then come back. And then what you're doing here is you're keeping your pelvis on the ground at all times. And you want to relax the whole body. The palms are downwards. The fingertips are kind of in line with the crown of the head. But again, you protect your wrist either way. You'll notice the tops of the feet are flat on the earth. I was taught that your feet need to be close together. But if that tweaks your lower back, then keep them apart. Keep them in line with your hips. Let's see, breathe out deeply. Then while inhaling, slowly raise the head and shoulders by bringing the upper arms to the vertical position. The elbows should remain on the ground, just like this. And you remain in the pose for a while, taking some deep breaths. Be aware of the breath and the relaxation of the back muscles. So none of this should be tensed up. I know it's crazy. Even in regular Bhujangasana, it shouldn't be tensed up. And then you just come back down. You can repeat the movement. Obviously, your awareness is on the back muscles and the breath, right? And you do it about 3 to 4 minutes is sufficient. If you want to just throw this in your day and try it out and see if you feel maybe that your back is less stiff. So it's up to you. Whenever I'm teaching yoga, I don't usually come into this asana very often, but I might pair it with like a full wheel or something. But I do like to come into full Bhujangasana and hold sometimes and just see what happens. It's kind of fun. And I will come into like a mini Sphinx is what I call it, because I put my hands here and I lift the elbows a bit, but I don't come straight up into a full Bhujangasana. I just take my time here. So it's kind of like a variation of this. If you've taken my classes, you know what I'm talking about, just so that we can warm up the back before we come into full Bhujangasana. Crocodile Pose, Makarasana. It's similar to Sphinx, except obviously your hands are here. We think it's beneficial for those who suffer from slip discs. So if you have like a slip disc, this one's fine. You can do this one. And it says here it helps with asthma and other lung ailments. So that's really cool. You should try that. So you lie flat on the stomach with the head and shoulders raised off the ground. The head is cupped in the palms with the elbows resting on the ground. You relax the whole body and close your eyes. Be aware of the natural and rhythmic breathing pattern. If you like, you can also count the breath. I was going to suggest that. That sounds nice. If you suffer from any spinal or lung ailments, we suggest you lie in Makarasana for as long as possible. The longer, the better. I mean, think about it. It's like opening up the lungs here. You can even read a book in this asana. You know, I've tried that. It does tweak my back a bit more, but yeah. This position encourages the spine to resume its normal shape and releases compression of the sciatic nerve, which is awesome. The chest is also expanded following an increased amount of air to enter the lungs. Yeah, we said that, which is great help in elevating congestion and other elements of the respiratory system. So yeah, there's that pose. I mean, this is so fun with yoga. It's like a treasure map almost. You're just making your way up the body and exploring like how it feels to be alive in this pose. It's kind of wonderful. So I hope that you guys give it a chance and enjoy it. I'm really looking forward to walking through this and maybe writing a blog about it or experiencing it, because it's, you know, once you enter this world, it's just like, wow. And we're in the introductory section, so that's cool. All right, enjoy. So sorry that this video wasn't awesome. Didn't have like, you know, not that any of my videos are awesome, but it doesn't have much editing, if at all. But it's just, you know, my lifestyle right now, and I still want to share. Okay, let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything else I can share with you regarding this lesson. This was lesson 3, and the next time I make it back, we'll be walking into pranayama, which I am super stoked about. Okay, bye-bye.